What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. If you enjoy the Scale News Update, hit the like button. Let's jump into this week's topics. First, for this week, I had this one sent to me a bunch of times. This is a hard one for me to exactly pin down. I believe that this was made by the same people that owned or started WPL, but this is the CXD D52 fully licensed VW bus. Now, WPL stuff in general, usually not exactly high-end RC grade. It's kind of a step above toy grade. This one is almost or kind of is toy grade. It's got proportional steering and things like that, throttle, but beyond, it's pretty toy grade. The wheels and tires are molded as one piece, but sticky, it says. But there's a lot of detail in the body and whatnot. So, you know, there's still there's still some of the stuff there, but it's pretty cheaped out beyond that. I'm told it's good, but it's going to be mainly looks. It's going to be nearly useless for anything but tooling around on the floor in some way. So if you're just a big VW collector though, maybe this would be something that you'd be interested in. If you are, I'll put a link to where you can pre-order this currently. JConcepts wanted to throw a couple of new body options at us before the end of the year. This is the Stage Killah. There's a 1/10 version and a 1/24 scale version. The 1/10 version, they actually used to make this body, but it was styled a little bit differently. This one has been kind of changed up. It's still very similar in a lot of ways, but not exactly the same. I think the old one maybe looked a little bit better. This, I don't know. This, it's just kind of a weird looking body. I always liked the old Axial XC1, which this is kind of close to. This is just like a not so good version of it, in my opinion. I don't know. They also, like I said, they have a 1/10 version and a 1/24 scale version. Now on the 1/24 scale version, they actually said that it's for the XC1, but the XC1 is the body that Axial has on the AX24, which I think that they mean for the AX24, but they're just like, it's that. Maybe they're projecting because it is very XC1 body-esque. If you're looking for a body option for your sporty or something like a, all performance, no scale, cheater type rig, then this may be the body option for you. And speaking of bodies, Redcat now has the clear bodies from the Ascent available in both versions. You can get the cab and bed version, or you can get the one-piece version. Both show in stock now, ready to order. So if you have that, like the body and want to change up the color, or if you liked the body and wanted to put it on something else, you can order those up. Put a link to both of the options below. And also from Redcat, if any of you guys have the lowrider options, you're looking to class things up a bit and you wanted to do a full host of gold plastics, you can get those. The chassis pan, axles, suspension arms, all kinds of bits in the gold plated color, obviously appropriate. Redcat has done things with that lowrider platform popularity that I never would have guessed, and they've absolutely just kept going at it. Congrats to them, and obviously they've been well received and the builders have done crazy things with them. Next, we had a new one from Carisma, which I didn't catch at first because I thought it was the old one, or the one that they released a couple of months ago. But this is not the 1/8 scale rally car. This is the 1/10 scale rally car, a brand new release. This is the 2006 Subaru WRC car, and they list it as an ARTR, which for a lot of us, ARTR usually meant a built complete vehicle without electronics. This is just an RTR. It says that you need to put batteries in it. Everything, the motor, ESC, everything's there. It just doesn't have the actual battery, and they call that an ARTR. So I'm counting it as an RTR because that's what this is. That's how RTRs come, at least in 10th scale, where this is being put. So we're counting it. What is wild is, and you go to the product page on the Carisma website, this is like the least amount of specs that has ever been put on a full 10th scale RTR vehicle. There's more fine print about it being almost ready to run, that it's licensed, and that there'll be other parts coming than there is actual description about this car. I can't say that I've ever remember seeing that before. I went to go I'll just grab some details about this thing. good luck. They just give you hardly anything. You can of course see some of the details in the photos, but still just wild that they didn't actually put any information out about this thing. It's a pretty standard 10th scale on-road looking car with some rally, tires and a good looking body. It's brushless, says that it uses a 2S LiPo, and it's $298. There's the details. Team Associated released a new version of their LT10SW. This is specifically the Ryan Beat RTR. Now, we won't count this as a new RTR because it's just a new paint scheme on the existing vehicle. Ryan Beat is a professional full-size short course racer, so mimicked his theme on that existing body. Looks pretty decent as far, that body, they didn't change it at all, so it's still kind of got the proportions that it does, but pretty cool scheme on it overall. This is the same platform basically as so many of their other cars. Tons of interchangeable parts. Nothing crazy, nothing super special, but a reasonably priced basher. Gmade posted up a new teaser for us, saying that in January they're going to have a new release called the Spider. Now, we only see a rear view shot of the vehicle in this, but it looks like a comp cut, Jeep CJ probably of some sort. I guess it could be a YJ. It's got the hinges on the bottom side of the tailgate if they're paying that close of attention to the details. But it's got the molded axles, although these are a portal version that we've seen from them previously. Not much else that can be derived from it. It is a convertible style, no topless, whatever you want to call it, with some sort of molded cage up there. But again, that's about all we can see at this point. I don't see anything that's going to scream anything wildly new, but it says that it's going to be their most capable vehicle to date. Take that as you will. But as we see the details come out in January, we'll of course cover it back here on future episodes. Next, Killah Bodies has finally released the Mercury chassis. Now, I'm not sure if Killah Bodies has offered the Mercury chassis multiple times, but the first time we ever saw it, or it was first being displayed, called the Mercury chassis, we talked about in episode 61, which was way back in 2019 of the Scale News Update. So, not sure, didn't see anything after that from them of it, but we definitely heard more about it when they released the Killah Bodies Jeep Gladiator body set, which was said to be made to drop right onto that chassis. And that was back in June of this year, but it is finally available now. I actually did get my hands on one of these later this last summer just to actually kind of see, and it's very detailed, super cool looking overall. But the one that I got to see had already been broken within the first few minutes of driving it. So that was an early release pre-production version. Hopefully some of those bugs have been worked out now for the final release. But if you're interested in one of those very scale setups, look more into that. And then next, RTR 100. This is the Team Raffi RTR. Kind of, I think. It's labeled as a JD Models, also as Team Raffi. JD Models, the same company that I believe made that RC 4-wheel drive Eric Miller buggy, or the Miller buggy, Ultra 4 buggy, whatever they've called it. They've also made like that Hero F-150 that RC 4-wheel drive had sold for a while. But this chassis we had also seen from other makers overseas over the last year or so. It's a titanium welded chassis that's made to look like the Dragon Slayer from Campbell Enterprises that Shannon Campbell drives. And it's done very well in that way. And this has a whole host of detail parts that go along with it. Very highly detailed 3D printed parts, rear engine cover. It does have a CNC machined aluminum axle. The drivetrain beyond that, there's not a ton of really good information on it, but the overall appearance looks fantastic. It does have like the full Monster Energy logos and all that stuff on there, which is interesting because pretty sure this probably didn't get full Monster Energy approval, but see how long that lasts without it or with it, however they plan to do that. But again, very detailed, most likely going to be a very boutique item. The price on this thing is it's over $1,500. As far as parts and things like that go for it, that's probably going to be a little bit of where the gamble comes in on a truck like that. But if you're looking for something that's going to look fantastic on a shelf, it really does. But as far as the long run future and how you can depend on this, that'll be the question that'll be interesting to hear how the people who buy it really see. So be interested to hear if you guys would be interested in it. If dependability, replacement parts, things like that weren't the question, would you still be interested at a little over $1,500? Then we go right into RTR 101, this one from Hobby Plus. This is the CR18 Pro Evo. This is a 18th scale portal axles, ring and pinion on it, super low slung, nice size wheels and tires, but looks like a competitive or competition style little 18th scale. A little bit larger than the SCX24s or those size. Little bit closer to like the TRX4M size, but this thing looks great. I mean, super low slung. It's got a, LCG chassis, as they call it. I believe it's aluminum machined on this one. And, you'll see a lot of details that were put into it. Hobby Plus has been around for quite a while. I own one or two of their small scale, just kind of regular put around trucks, nothing that's the super performance minded like this one. Hobby Plus does make some very reasonably priced options, and this one follows suit as well. I'm sure you'll see these being sold through AMain soon, and when they hit there, we'll follow back up on this. But at this time, you can buy them. People are already getting them, and I've actually seen a couple of YouTube video reviews on these popping up also already. So check those out. Pick yourself up one if that's what you're looking for. RTR 102. This one is the MNRC MN82 1/12 Toyota LC70. Officially licensed, it says. I got sent this one. It said, this just popped up as new. Is it a rebrand or anything like that? I looked around a little bit. I didn't see any other 1/12 LC70s. I saw like the 1/12 FMS FJ45, but I didn't see any LC70s. 1/10 scale, yes. 1/12 scale, no. So this is a Bang Gang product, Again, I don't know anything about this brand. Or if it's a rebrand of something that is maybe more popular, like an RGT or an FMS that I missed, something along those lines. But, the LC70s, they look pretty good. It's available in two colors, the red color and then the standard desert tan. Not exactly high end. It does look kind of WPL, which I didn't check WPL. Does WPL make this? Okay, no. Coming all the way from Banggood, I wouldn't order this and expect it before Christmas for sure, though. With the price tag, it may have been appealing, but you're going to have to buy a plane ticket to try and get it here in time. And then finally, the TWWS THR is finally for sale. You may not be super familiar with the TWWS THR. Maybe you're more familiar with the TWWS CTS VTR. Be kind, rewind. Again, this is their high performance version of that platform. These are very similar to the MST vehicles. I can't remember their 3-letter or number versions of whichever platform it was. My memory has failed me. The more interesting part I found with these is that I can't find TWS available in any of the places that I thought I used to find it. I thought RC Mart and Asia Tees both used to carry TWS previously, but I don't see it available there currently. So not sure if anything has changed there or not. If you have one of those vehicles, have you tried looking for anything lately or had any issues or maybe purchased one direct? Be interested to hear how that's going. And then of course, Livestream Takeover, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's the live show you can count on. It's always there. Come check that out. Love to have you on the live chat, or of course, you can watch it anytime after. But that does it for this week's news topics. We hit 100 RTRs for the year. Now, next year, what are we gonna track instead? We spent all year, we kept track of all of them that we covered, and we just hit that 100 mark. I need to go back and see what your guys' predictions were towards the beginning of the year. Once, after that final week, I'll go back, check everything out, and go from there. Maybe I'll do a special episode where I go back and rank every RTR from the list. It'll be a very difficult episode, but another really good opportunity to use a spreadsheet. So for this week, what I want to hear is suggestions on you guys of what we should keep track of throughout all of 2024. Do we just do RTRs again, or do we do kits instead? Since RTRs are obviously the more popular one, how many new kits do we actually get to see that pertain in some way to the scale world? I feel like there's some options there. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Keeping track of something throughout the year, always a fun task to handle. Next week's episode, since I filmed the night before, I would have to film on Christmas, which is difficult and interesting. So we'll see how that goes. That may get moved around a little bit. We'll see what we do. We'll see what I pull off. I'm not 100% sure yet. I could throw all of our schedules for a loop, but we'll see how that goes. But if I don't see you before that, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.